Yesterday, we accomplished what we set ourselves out to do by making it 3 wins out of 3 before international break. Now, Pochettino said that he was incredibly impressed by our comeback win against Burnley. It wasn't the perfect game, but what was perfect was our reaction to going down a goal behind, with Raheem Sterling stealing the show, as well as our attacking players making the key difference to help us secure yet another win. Today, my friends, I am here to discuss the 4 things learned in our 4-1 win against Burnley. Hit that like button. Let's get over 2k likes, and without wasting any more time, for our first thing learned, turnovers was our key to success. Now, it really was a game of 2 halves in my opinion, but one thing I constantly stress all the time: goals really do change games. Now, on screen you guys can see our cumulative expected goals across both halves, and as you can see, in the first half, Burnley had better chances than us. We were lucky that they didn't even make it 2-0 in the first half. Their first goal came from a very incisive counter-attack. Even though we didn't make any chances, you could see that our threat was increasing in that first half, and it increased even more after going a goal down against Burnley. Our threat was rising and rising and rising, and I guess, was it any surprise that in the end, Raheem Sterling forced the own goal after sustained periods of pressure against Burnley. Now, once we equalised before half-time, it felt like confidence was on our sides, and I felt like the players really trusted how Pochettino set them up to play against Burnley yesterday. And it was nice to see an instant reaction in the start of the second half with Raheem Sterling, who was constantly destroying Burnley forever down that left hand side, winning the penalty, which lets us make it 2-1 in the game. We scored both our goals at the optimum time, and once we went in front, we could finally take full control of this game, as it meant that Burnley were forced to open up to try and get back in the game as they were playing at home. Now, as you guys can still see, across the full 90 minutes, our expected goal threat was 1.86, Burnley's was 0.88, yet we still scored 4 goals. How exactly did this happen? And this is where Pochettino gets full credit for how he set us up tactically, because turnovers were key in winning us this game. The game plan essentially was to stifle Burnley's build-up, force mistakes in their half, and then take advantage. The turnover stats show that we won 10 high turnovers, producing 4 shots from them. And if you examine these stats in detail, you can see that most of our shots were coming from the left hand side. So how exactly did we force turnovers from Burnley yesterday? It worked like this, my friends. We used more of a mid-block setup. As you can see, Nico Jackson presses the centre back on the ball, and depending on where the centre back plays a pass, you can see that we have wingers either side who get ready to trigger their press to close down the passing receiver. Now, the game plan is that we hope to force them to play passes backwards or to force passes in midfield. And as you guys can see, our midfielders going man to man, shadowing Burnley's midfield, with their aim being to win the turnovers, win the tackles, counter press, etc, etc. We blocked out the passing angles that Burnley were hoping to find to play out from the back. The only solution was to play either long kicks from their goalkeeper, which were easily winning the aerial duels against them, or forcing the turnovers in their half so we could counter against them and score. And I guess the key example being the 3rd goal scored by Raheem Sterling. You know, as you guys can see, Caicedo winning a double tackle. He releases the pass to Conor Gallagher, who plays a great weighted pass into the left foot of Sterling for him to take a nice finish in the bottom corner. My friends, it comes down to this: you force your own luck in this game. It's about winning your battles, dominating those moments, and I felt like we did that to very good effect. Even though it wasn't necessarily the perfect performance, we still had struggles breaking them down in the first half, and I do think that maybe against a better caliber team, they aren't producing the same mistakes that Burnley produced to help us get back into the game. But regardless, we are still a positive work in progress. We all know this, and I guess we still have to praise the reaction to going down and coming back to win 4-1 in the end. So turnovers was key. Now for the second thing we learned, Raheem Sterling stole the show. It was a Sterling performance, we all know the puns. This was one of Sterling's dominant performances. He had impacts in every moment. He forced the own goal, He won the penalty, he scored, and he made the pre-assist for the 4th goal too. Sterling is now going to hope that with his recent performances, this will make Gareth Southgate now pay close attention to him. Now, forcing the turnovers was our main game plan against Burnley. Our second game plan was to get Raheem Sterling into this game, which he did to beautiful effect. And as you guys can see with the pass map, you can see that Raheem Sterling is the most advanced player on the field. And it's not the first time that we've seen Sterling taking up these more higher positions in these pass maps. But to explore things in more detail, let's now look at the progressive pass attempts. And as you guys can see from the graph shown, look at the direction in which we are playing our progressive passes. We are looking to stretch Burnley in behind down that left hand side, and we did that by using Raheem Sterling as an outlet. We looked to release Sterling in behind. We looked to find Sterling 1v1 isolated so he can carry us up the field. We looked to use Sterling to stretch Burnley's defensive shape to that left hand side to free up more supporting run spaces down the right hand side for our players. Again, the 4th goal that we scored against them being the prime example of this game plan working. And I guess it's no surprise that the stats show that Raheem Sterling received the most progressive passes in yesterday's game, receiving 11, which proves that he was our main attacking outlet. Let's now see the key moments in Sterling's game yesterday. Now, throughout the game, Burnley tried to double team Raheem Sterling, but they weren't getting tight enough as a team. They weren't really funneling Sterling into less dangerous areas, and Sterling had a lot of fun. He had the option to either cut inside if he wanted to, or take his man on the outsides, and he was causing so much danger from very simple attacking plays like this. See, he shifts his body inside and quickly accelerates in the other direction, being his man for pace. Now here's an example of Sterling being the highest player up the field, being our attacking outlet. See, running behind, receiving a progressive pass, deads the ball, and in this moment right here, I'm going to take you inside or outside, and Sterling did the experience thing, taking his man on the outside every single time. Now let's look at this moment here for the own goal which Sterling forced. That's it in real time. That's the own goal. Slowing things down, one of the most dangerous parts of Sterling's game is his ability to accelerate and then decelerate at a split of a second. As you can see, accelerates and decelerates, then accelerates again into the space, then decelerates, shifting his weight before accelerating again outside. And it was causing so much confusion to Burnley's defensive shape, and he forces the own goal. And this right here is the penalty winning moment. Enzo is in between two Burnley defenders looking to stretch them to create that space for Sterling to attack, which Sterling most definitely does, taking his man on the outside and forcing the tackle inside the box. Look how explosive Sterling is in the first few yards and meters. Space of no time, they can't cope, and he wins that penalty. Now for this moment right here, I think Sterling's movement in behind was finally rewarded with the 3rd goal. As you can see, a free outlet out wide again, which he was throughout the entire game. Perfect control, perfect shot with his left foot. Now here's an example of Sterling receiving another switch ball. He received a ton of them where he is isolated 1v1 against his fullback. And for his final involvement, one of the plays of the game, his experience shines through. You know, he gets his body in front of his man, has the upper body strength to hold the ball, and he looks to shift his opponent's mass the other way by quickly doing a little dummy shimmy, holds it, and then bursts and accelerates into the space. Great control, plays it first time across goal because he's found Cole Palmer. That wasn't an accident. And the rest is history, my friends. If Sterling can keep this up, he will find himself back in the international fold again, my friends. For the 3rd thing learned, we discussed General Caicedo. Now in yesterday's game, I thought our midfield played another decent all-round game again, and it's showing that Gallagher, Enzo and Caicedo really complement each other on the field. And now my friends, let's focus on Caicedo. I mean, look at this heat map. That midfield was his. That's what that heat map communicates. If we look at the lower right hand sides, he was constantly providing support to Cucurella. If Cucurella was higher up the field, Caicedo was marshalling and protecting those spaces in behind, helping to stop those Burnley counterattacks. But the most important thing for me is that not only was he a defensive presence, but his passing again was a shining example of this guy's quality, and he was a constant support for his teammates everywhere, in the centre of midfield. As you guys have seen, 90 touches, 78 out of 81 passes played, 96% pass accuracy, 2 key passes made, 2 key passes, 5 out of 6 long balls. It was Caicedo's first time long pass to find Raheem Sterling, which forced the own goal moment, and he is not afraid to play off the ground to find teammates higher up the field, or to quicken the pace or change the directions of our attacks. And that's what I really like about Caicedo. As you can see here, Enzo and Gallagher are putting in more defensive work, but to be an enforcer, it's not solely about winning your tackles in the middle of the field. Caicedo was literally the platform for our team, and one of our platforms for success in yesterday's game. Here we can see Caicedo protecting the spaces in behind Cucurella, sweeps it up, another outlet for the team, finding Enzo Fernandez. Here helping double up against Cucurella, and he wins that ball against Obert. But again, kick-starting the attacks, that is what Caicedo can bring and what he can do. I like the first time pass again to find Cole, but he's not afraid to get forward when the opportunities arise. You know, it tries to do like a little give and go then to create that space for his passing receiver. Again, in these areas right here, when it's like 4 players around him, you know, ends up was regularly receiving like this against Brian. He's very comfortable in these areas. And look, he receives here, 1 touch. Second touch, he plays a forward pass to Cucurella, which is the right pass to make then. Again, that's the first time pass to Sterling for the own goal. And here, he's not afraid to ping that ball to the opposite side of the field. Super pass to find Raheem Sterling, which was key, isolating the wingers out wide. Right here, he reads the game well, sweeps up the danger. Let's see that move again, because for me, this is a high-level play. It looks simple, it looks easy, but look how it just creates an attack from nothing. We've taken out, 5 Burnley players from that 2 passes from Caicedo then. Again, giving us that protection in behind, playing the DM role. And look how alert he is to winning that then. This was the moment which makes the 3rd goal. You know, Caicedo is really good at just like covering the shadows and really anticipates when to trigger his press to win the duel. 2 tackles won in that sequence. Great play from Moises. But when it comes to reading the game, it's not just about winning the tackles. He blocks a shot right here, being in the right position at the right time. And here again, look. I mean, I really liked this play yesterday. Super pass. Look how it dips to find Mudryk. Excellent control by Mudryk. And for me, I thought Moises Caicedo, as I said, gave us the platform for success. And for the 4th thing learned, Jackson times Palmer equals goals and equals assists. Jackson now scores in consecutive games. Palmer assists in consecutive games. I feel like it was really harsh that his assist was taken away from him against Fulham. But this is the 2nd game in a row where both players have played together, where it's produced a goal and assist from either one. It's starting to feel like both players actually need each other. Palmer wants to look to find a forward to play to, and Jackson wants his movements to be found in behind. It's looking like a promising partnership. It's a very small sample pool, but there are signs of promise with their combination play. His link up was great. As you guys can see here on the right hand side, he was mainly receiving out wide, but he still had the license to drift infield. When he was drifting in fields, he was receiving in very intelligent positions in behind Burnley's midfield lines. And when he did that, he was switching the play of our attack, finding Raheem Sterling time and time again. You know, 4 out of 6 long balls played, 2 key passes, 1 big chance made. Palmer makes things happen on the ball and off the ball, and for me that's what makes him a very exciting young talent. I guess the one big surprise though was Cole Palmer taking the penalty against Burnley. Clearly he must be impressing Pochettino in training sessions. I like how he was intelligent in taking his pen. Lampard used to do something similar back in the day, where like his body would shift the run direction to just, you know, take the goalkeeper out of the game slightly by putting him off balance, and then he would decoy that, disguise that, and place his shots in the opposite direction. I like that Palmer is a thinking player. Whenever he plays, he communicates that he is thinking 1 step ahead every single time, and to have someone like Nico Jackson is probably the type of player that Palmer loves to combine with, because you need your striker to know when to time his runs in behind, so Palmer can find you as he's looking that step ahead to try and make sure someone is receiving his through balls. Nicholas Jackson comes on, as we can see with his heat map right here. He was an outlet. He was receiving a lot of things deeper, and when Jackson drops deep, he looks to turn and carry and drive his team up the field. But at the same time, I really like the positions he was finding himself inside the box. Really intelligent. He was peeling off his runners, getting to the near post and getting to the far post. At times, Jackson hasn't always been doing that. I know it's only Burnley, but there were small signs of just like an understanding of, okay, I need to attack these spaces a lot better. And I guess it's no surprise that in the end, he is rewarded by getting an assist and scoring a goal. Now, Jackson's goal really impressed me. It's not very often you see strikers who have that composure at this level to be able to trust in their technique in moments where the shooting angle isn't there. The nice drag back then, the instinctive drag back to create that shot with his left foot, that was a special moment in play. And it's these little details and moments where Jackson has shown time and time again the skill, the separation he can create. His frame, his size, his intelligence. Like, this is a guy, I'm going to keep stressing, you invested, you give him this whole season, you will pay the rewards in future seasons if you let this guy learn. It's his first time in the Premier League. He hasn't even played more than 100 games in his career. He is very raw at this point in time, but the fact that he's now got 3 goals already for us, he's looking more effective now in attack, now that he finally has his dream combo guy in Cole Palmer to find him. Believe in this guy, have patience, and I promise we will pay the rewards in the future, my friends. So on that note, I hope you guys enjoyed the full things we learned against Burnley. Let's hope that the boys in the team come back with this type of winning spirit and mentality now after international break, because boy, we are going to need that. So hit that like button. Let's go over 2k likes. I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lions TV. I'll see you guys later with some more videos. Cool.